everybody. Welcome to Take the Black, the relaxing, groovy show where myself, Dan Selcke of winteriscoming.net, and Daniel Roman, also of winteriscoming.net, and occasional assorted guests talk all things sci-fi, fantasy, TV, movies, House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and etc. Daniel, how are you feeling today? Are you relaxed?
I'm feeling more relaxed the more I listen to you talk. Yeah. I expected to come in and be bouncing off the walls, but I think I'm ready for, if not a nap, certainly some relaxation time. This is our ASMR episode where we talk about fresh faces and why you should be excited about them. How are you, Dan?
Meeting new people. I'm well. I'll tell you why I'm doing a relaxation thing. It's because, and this is no joke, I have been kind of worked up the more I think about the last episode of House of the Dragon and the way that Kristen
Yeah.
Cole beat a guy to death at a wedding and was allowed to walk away and no one said anything and he's still around and it just makes no sense. And I was really upset and I literally put on like relaxing Brahms classical music while I was doing some busy work to just, I gotta calm down. This isn't the place for this. You scream at your therapist like normal, go to a boxing gym, something like that. So that's why I'm trying to be more relaxed. But who knows if I'll keep it up? What we're going to talk about this week, I don't know. We're going to find out. But no, everything's cool. Everything's fine. Hello, Martha. Hello, Julie. Ms. Empress Marina writes, did they actually ever have Con of Thrones in Orlando? I know it got postponed. I'm not sure about the status of that, but when we know, we will definitely tell you. I want to go. I know there was a Con of Thrones. I've been to a couple. We'll get back to you on that, Mr. Marina. And yes, we are definitely going. It's going to be the next episode of House of the Dragon is a big one because
Yes.
we're going to jump 10 years forward in time. We're going to get lots of new actors coming in, both playing characters we already know, but now they're older, so their faces have changed. And some brand new actors, some brand new characters who just weren't born or were babies, so they don't count. And Julie, by the way, thank you. I have not changed my hairstyle. I wonder if it's just me in a collared shirt. You're throwing it off. I don't know. No, it's the same. It's the same. The
It's
temperature
true.
can affect.
You look much more
people's hair.
professional.
I think I do. Yeah, that's the goal. Relaxed, professional, not going to fly off the handle. Not again. Hello, Sam. And what's else in the Nashville? I was also at Dallas in the Nashville. We'll see it. Yeah, they're trying to bring it back, but actually for Con of Thrones, it's now sort of like conflicting with the official Game of Thrones conference that HBO wants to have. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And as Amy Miller asked, can we please talk about whatever Jedi mind trick Daemon had up his sleeve to talk his wife's horse down? I don't know, Amy. He did. So, well, I mean, the wife hates him. I don't know if the horse hated him or not. That was an interesting scene, wasn't it?
He just exuded.
That first scene, because even when watching it, like there is an argument to be made that Daemon did not come there to kill her, that she assumed the worst, reared up her horse, fell over. I think there is, because he didn't say a thing. All they did was like move slowly toward it. She reached for her bow. She goes back and then the horse falls on her and she's paralyzed or something. And then he starts walking away and she cries out Craven, which I'm glad that word's getting to work out. And then he picks up a rock. I mean, he definitely killed her after that, but because he didn't say anything. And I think, I mean, I'll be clear. He murdered her, but I think it's unclear if he came to the Vale intending to, or just decided when in Rome.
Okay. I think he totally went there deciding to. He was standing between her and getting back to her castle. Like that's where he chose to present himself, was standing, barring her path. I think, like, what else would he have gone there for? I think
try to reconcile, to try and ask for a divorce, to I don't know, to just like put in his once a year appearance before leaving and doing something else. Lots of reasons. He did seem menacing, though. I liked the character again.
I think he totally went there to kill her.
There was a lot of characters killed too soon this episode. Ray Royce died too soon. Joffrey Lonmouth died too soon. That episode had me torn up. It still does. But let's try to look to the future. We're going to go through some of the characters and actors coming this Sunday in The Princess and the Queen. By the way, long show title, House of the Dragon. Long chapter title, The Princess and the Queen. Just give me a break, HBO. I can't fill this into headlines.
It's the nice. I feel like they were trying to mirror some of those iconic Game of Thrones ones, like the Dragon and the Wolf, or the Lion and the Wolf, or the Rose and the Lion. I don't know. They usually just picked whatever house was doing stuff. So
I think they named it after the George R. R. Martin short story about Alicent and Rhaenyra, the Princess and the Queen. Oh, who has all this useless book I'm just going to whip out on the podcast?
Oh, is there a short story?
I think that was like
more. What's the origin?
Okay, fine. You call my bluff, but like it was the story about Rhaenyra and Alicent and their red and green dresses before it got put into Fire and Blood. I believe it was called The Princess and the Queen, just like the Rogue Prince he wrote beforehand too. And then he kind of put it into Fire and Blood. And that is my surmisation. Anyway, here are some of the new actors coming on House of the Dragon. Obviously, we have Rhaenyra and Alicent.
The Queen.
The Princess and the Queen. We got the Queen on the left, the Princess on the right. Before they were played by Millie Alcock and Emily Carey. Now they're going to be played by Emma Darcy. That's as Rhaenyra. She's the blonde one. And then Olivia Cook as Alicent. Exciting. This is kind of, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not sure even they counted on how popular the younger actors would be. And I wonder if there's going to be, I'm interested in seeing how people react to the first episode with the new people in it. I wonder if there'll be like an outcry of bring back the old ones.
Yeah, I think that, let us know in the comments how you're feeling about the change, but it'll be interesting because these are, 10 years are gone at this point, and people can change a lot in 10 years. And I think we're going to find that the Alicent we're going to meet next week and the Rhaenyra are a little closer to their book counterparts maybe than the younger ones. I think the younger actors had a little more leeway to really not make the characters their own, but they were exploring a period that was glossed over in their lives in more depth. And now we're to the point where they're adults, and that's where George R. R. Martin talks about them in more depth. So yeah, I'm curious what the reaction's going to be. But I think, I think they're going to do a great job. What do you think? Are you more excited or nervous here?
To be completely honest with you, I didn't like the last episode so much. I am going to have to watch the new one before I really get on board. So we'll come back to me in a little bit.
Okay. That last episode, that one, it got you.
I hated that Kristen Cole.
I can tell it got you.
It definitely did get to me.
I mean, it's fair.
Okay. Anyway, we also got
House of the Dragon is a triggering show. I think it's edgy. I think it's almost edgier than Game of Thrones in how it is periodically upsetting people, like with the premiere Bertha stuff. So,
oh yeah, good stuff. We got the Amy Miller who was saying, I loved the younger actors, but I'm so excited to see the older version. The previous looked promising. And I agree with Cassandra that the clips do look good. I did watch the new clips from the show, and it does look, I was impressed with Emma Darcy. And I was impressed, I noticed John McMillan there as the older Laenor Valerian, seen here in darkness. By the way, can I just say, the wig, so much better.
So much better. Yeah.
That's a good look for the Valerians, kind of tight and back, rather than sort of in the nuclear white dreads. I like it a lot more. So
I like Corliss's
I hope he
wig.
keeps that. It's among the better ones.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think Laenor looks that's some fine wigsmanship there.
Yes. And there he is with Emma Darcy. If you guys haven't seen this clip, HBO put it up, and it looks like it looks pretty juicy out of the gates. But we're not just going to meet Laenor. We're also going to meet the adult version of Laena, played by Nana Blondell.
Great families.
Yeah, and this is all. So slight spoilers here. If you don't know anything about what's coming, here's Laena with one of her children. That's Eva Asai Gurning as Rhaena Targaryen. Laena's got some kids. She looks like she might even be preggers here too. So that's going to be interesting. I wish we got more of the teenage Laena. This is kind of one of the things where the time she was good and the time is just flying. So we don't really have a whole lot to spend. But yeah, we're going to meet adult Laena and her twin daughters. Do we want to say whose kids they are? Is that too much?
I don't think we have to, so I don't think we should. You'll find out in episode 6 who Laena had.
There are children.
2 Targaryen daughters with. But I mean, these both daughters, and the other one, by the way, is Bela, and she is played by Shani Smithurst, who is not in the preview, but we do have a glamour shot of from the red carpet. It's kind of, so we've talked before, and it's true. So this next episode is basically a second pilot, because it's gonna we're gonna meet a whole lot of new people. We're gonna have a whole new generation of people, and they will pretty much, well, some of them will pretty much have the full suite of characters finally by this episode. I think the time jumps. Well, there'll be at least one more. Okay, I take it all back.
Yes, there
learn
will.
some more character names and just keep on doing what you do. You've been doing great, and here's some more. And it should lessen as time goes on. But yeah, we'll have a lot of new.
Yes.
You know, it's important, not important, but it's desirous of many shows,
Very
I think,
important.
to have youths in them, because why do the young watch TV? The youths. You want the youths because that will allow you to have folk out in front of cameras on red carpets, like people standing them. And even though Rhaenyra and Alicent are getting into their 30s, there are going to be lots of younger actors in generation to come along and provide that key youth factor, such as Bela and Rhaena Targaryen.
That's
some comments, by the way.
Yeah, it's a multi-generational show.
Christian, after my own heart, quoting my cousin Vinny, the two youths, Your Honor. Yes.
These two youths.
It's 2 youths.
Yeah.
The what? Oh, sorry, Your Honor. Youths stuff. All right. Moving on. We got, okay, this one's important. This is Ty Tennant as Aegon Targaryen II. We've actually met this character. He's Alicent's little baby.
Yes.
We've met the infant version, firstborn son of Alicent Hightower and King Aegon Targaryen and King Viserys Targaryen. He grows up. He gets. I think he looks. I think the wigsmanship here is not my absolute favorite.
The wigsmanship.
It looks a little.
I love the wig.
White snake. Yeah.
Which is fitting for how. So Aegon, in his youth, he is a deviant. Basically, he's kind of lazy and mischievous. He's like the prototypical I'm a spoiled royal child when he's a teenager in the book. So I feel like this is fitting. His little smirk there is fitting. So it's the wig is comical, but I almost like it more for that.
Fair enough. We have some nice comment. Julie says looks like a smart ass. Nicole says an instantly unlikable face. Cassandra looking evil. I'm not sure if it's confirmation bias or what. I mean, to me, he's giving serious androgyny in that picture. Like there's something about it. He's given a lot of like Tilda Swinton, almost like Gwendolyn Christie vibes almost. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but yeah, he'll be important. Look out for that one.
Yes. Yeah, Martha says sounds like Joffrey. Pretty much, just not as insane. I would say. I mean, Aegon's more a spoiled teenager who he grows up to still be kind of a spoiled dude, but it's not, like Joffrey where he's torturing people that we know of. We'll see. Maybe that will change.
As Silly Little Sheep says, I hope that makes the Greens totally evil, which is a good point. Sorry, can you go on?
Same. It might have even been Silly Little Sheep who said this earlier, just that it was mind-blowing that there are going to be more time jumps because they had seen a picture of adult Aemond, who we're going to get to in a second, Aemond Targaryen. And yeah, I think probably episode 8 or 9, we're going to see another time jump. But this is the big one.
I wonder if by the end of the season, I'll have wished they went a little slower. But I mean,
do.
Obviously, folk are. You do? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the time jumps are a feature of the show. I think they're doing them as well as they possibly could for the most part. But I miss, there are juicy relationships that we're kind of skimming over that I wish we got to explore a little more at the same time.
Yeah, again, it's going to be a very curious time. Anyway, we also have Sam's liked the pacing so far. I've liked the pacing too. Didn't like that freaking Kristen thing. We also have Evie Allen as Helena Targaryen. We also met her. She was Alicent's newest baby.
Yep.
Again, like not much to say about her. But again, they grow up, they get older, they get freckles, and they become dragon riding Targaryen daughters.
Yep.
She's pretty nice. So she's not in the trailer, so we'll see what that brings. We also have this one is big. Leo Ashton as Aemond Targaryen. Not that Helena isn't, but as Aemond Targaryen. This is one of those juicy roles that I think a lot of actors would be able to make a lot. If there's a Joffrey of the show, it is this guy once he grows up, because here it's one of those in between things. This kid will play him for a couple episodes and there'll be one more jump, and he has quite the arc in this show. So Aemond Targaryen, the third child, second son of Alicent Hightower and King Viserys Targaryen. Looking forward to seeing what they do with him, because he is a wild one.
I am so excited for you guys to watch this episode. I've seen this one. This is the last one I've seen ahead. I think they do some really interesting things with the Targaryen kids, in terms of making them very three-dimensional. So it's interesting to hear you compare Aemond to Joffrey. I'm curious if you're going to feel that way after you see the next episode.
I mean, to be fair, no one's quite Joffrey except Kristen Cole. Like, at least in the book. I mean, at least in the book, Aemond isn't as bad as Joffrey. That's true. He's different. I'm just trying to like some kind of malevolent force. There really isn't quite anyone, although there are a lot of people who are like close enough together. Well, yeah. I mean, on Game of Thrones. I mean, on House of the Dragon. Well, I mean, like on House of the Dragon.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't understand anyone who's quite that sociopathic, but there are enough people who are like really close that it doesn't really matter. There'll be plenty of instigators and fire starters.
Yeah.
Daemon already's legendary one. Is it not amazing how quickly Daemon Targaryen has become like a cause célèbre and an instant hit and iconic status among fans of the show? That happened real quickly. And whoever set up there that some of his best moments are silent, I completely agree. Matt Smith is just murdering it. He's very, very good. That's working 100%. Uton says Kristen had one awful moment. It makes him more like Theon. Yeah, we shouldn't get sidetracked. I refer you to our Sunday show.
I'll say,
to have me rag on Kristen Cole some more. Yes, Daniel, what would you say?
Fair enough. I was just going to say it depends on where he goes from here, right? Right now, I kind of agree with that.
Gone.
Well, sure. If he has a huge redeeming arc, then yeah, he's like Theon. But I don't think that's where Kristen's going in this show.
No, he's over.
I have a feeling things are only going to get worse with Kristen.
Have a feeling, huh? All right.
I have a feeling. I don't know. I have a feeling.
So those are Alicent and Viserys' kids, but Rhaenyra Targaryen also has children, including we got here Harvey Sadler as Lucerys Valerian, maybe Lucerys, I guess we'll find out, and Leo Hart as Jacaerys Valerian, possibly Jacaerys. I do know in the book these two have nicknames, thank God. Like Lucerys is called Luke.
Yes, Luke. So Luke and Jace.
Woo! And then Jacaerys is called Jace. So we don't need to remember all of these names. These are going to be Luke and Jace, which are as close to normal as we're going to get with these vowel-loving ancient families.
Yes.
And of course, as some folk have noticed, Sam says some strong children. We'll just say pretty much
some strong children.
Lord Dawkins has a great comment. I'll read it in a second. But I mean, just obviously, they're supposed to be Rhaenyra's kids by Laenor, but neither of them have the Targaryen blonde hair, nor does it look like they have a darker skin tone like Laenor. Whatever could that mean? I'm sure we'll find out posty hasty in Sunday's episode. Okay, because I can't leave this alone, I'm going to read Lord Dakin of House Rastafarian. That's a great name. Comment from YouTube. I think they pretty much ruined Kristen Cole way too early, so nobody is really going to have any respect for him because he became a bad guy way too quickly. I completely agree. Yes, I am very on board with that. I mean, Kristen Cole should be a complex person. There's no room for ambiguity in what he did. There's no way I can possibly think of him as a rounded character. He's just an ass who did that. I hated that choice so much.
I kind of have to disagree with you. I think there's, again, not saying I support Kristen.
Sorry, go on.
I don't think it's a hate crime, first of all, because I think Joffrey's identity had nothing to do with why Kristen snapped. I think if anything, the fact that Kristen was kind of in this position where he has been manipulated several times throughout the episode, and then he gets it once more, but from someone who he outranks, and he just snaps. He couldn't do that to Alicent, Rhaenyra. He wouldn't. But I think it's only, again, I don't think Kristen is going to end up having lots of redeeming qualities, but I do think they made him complex in that episode. A moron and a violent moron, but not in a simple situation. Like, he thought Alicent was going to kill him like 4 scenes earlier than that. What does he have left to live for? But she didn't. And now he's confused.
How does he get out of it? I think the hair triggerness was, there's even a line from Ryan Condal. I'm going to do the thing that season 8 haters do to Benioff and Weiss, where Ryan Condal's saying in the inside the episode.
Did you forget about the Iron Fleet?
Kind of, where he is talking about in the inside the episode feature. And he says, like, the fun of a Game of Thrones wedding is you don't know where the lines come from. And then you never expect Kristen, but then he just snaps and goes.
Didn't like that.
I hate that. I hate the idea that someone snapping is a good storytelling development.
Yeah.
I want to not exactly see it coming, but after it came, look back and realize it was inevitable. That's what you want to go for. Not like he snapped and it's like, it feels like shock for the sake of shock. I don't think it was built up to properly. And in terms of all the harmful tropes it's playing with, and then the completely lack of any aftermath follow through, I just think it's really, really, really sloppy. And I agree with Lord Darkin of Frost House Rastafari, which is, again, one of the better names we've seen around here.
Yeah.
Ooh. Anyway.
Yeah, totally.
I think I'm more upset about Dany's turn. Well, I don't know. I was more confused by Danny's turn than angry, as Julie says. But we really should go on because I don't want to just hijack the episode with talk about this. Although we got some great comments here from people. And
yeah, and
I'm
we've
sure it's at
introduced
least
all the
arguable.
new players we're gonna need to know, really. So we've
Did
looked
we?
at all
Are we
of
done?
the.
Oh, we're done.
We are done with a lot of the fresh faces. Not to say that's every single one you'll have to see in the next episode, but in terms of these main families, those are all the new faces, all the new actors. I saw someone, Mohammed Tanver Khalil, asked, "Don't you think Aegon II will be played by Jamie Campbell Bower in the future?" I wish.
Oh, that would be good.
I wish that was the case, but
like that.
Yeah, but we know he's
Stranger
actually
Things,
cast as Tom Glenn Carney will be playing him as an adult. So he's already cast. We'll see him this season at some point.
It is like a little almost like unfair. Like, so now like every time an actor plays a smirking blonde person in a show or a movie, like House of the Dragon fans are gonna be like, they should be on the show. Even though like it's pretty much all wigs. But I also would like Jimmy Campbell Bower in the show, so I'm fully guilty.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I do want to say,
I think.
Sorry, go on.
Oh no, just I think him as an actor would pull it off.
Sure, absolutely.
His Vecna turn sold me. He can be really nice seeming and then just terrifying.
Yeah, he was very good. There are like it's kind of odd, isn't it though? Because there are like, because I've seen like people always say like this person should be in the show, and like it's always like a light blonde haired person, and I'm like, they use wigs, right? It really just it's just kind of an easy jump to make that I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
I think it's a more complex choice.
Yeah, I agree with you. And most of the people who get cast as Targaryens have dark hair. Like the blonde hair doesn't make any difference. Amelia Clark, Ty Tennant, who we were just looking at a second ago. So
Lord Dokken of House of Targaryen and me are like just on the same page. He says, to me, the wedding fight seemed way too forced, two noble knights gossiping in the middle of one of them most important weddings, and then they just let Cole walk out without a question. Yeah, come on. Although I do kind of like Sam's take from YouTube that it might have been him trying to get himself killed. He did try and kill himself later on. That does make some sense. Maybe that's it. I feel like they could have underlined it. And it still doesn't solve the problem of how was he allowed to just get away with it, unfortunately. But at least that makes some sense psychologically, which, I mean, God, at least it's something.
Yeah, I wish the thing that gets me even more too. So, the murder of Joffrey is awful. I can see ways they could really just like shittily explain it. Like he had a dagger. We didn't see how the fight started, blah, blah, blah. But Kristen also straight up punched Laenor, the husband, the son of the most powerful house in Westeros, punched him straight in the face. How doesn't that get addressed? And the time jump's coming, so we can pretty much presume it isn't going to. That
Lord Dokken said,
almost as much from a
king.
Logistical standpoint. Yeah,
he slapped the future king, and he is a king's guard.
That's a conflict of interest right there.
That's a conflict of interest. I want to use this gavel, but I'm not going to because of the sound. Yeah, I just absolutely hated it. I just hated it, but I'm going to try to move on. Any other thoughts about the upcoming episode and the new cast and the new characters?
Gosh, anything else to say? I think we've pretty much hit on just about everything we needed to. There's one child we don't see here. He's in the trailer. We get a brief little glimpse of him in that picture. Joffrey, Rhaenyra's youngest. So Rhaenyra who's has like played by a kids baby. As of this episode, it looks like who's played by I don't even think a real baby. Maybe a real baby in some shots and a fake baby in other shots.
Maybe I should have gotten the little screen cap because maybe it was a fake baby. That's creepy, but cool.
I'm not sure. Yeah. And I guess Aemond, so he is younger than 10. The ages are throwing me a little bit here because he wasn't alive in the last episode. So, but yeah, who are you most excited to see next episode?
Aemond, probably. Oh, sure, yes. Definitely let us know. And
no, you too. Who are you most excited?
Kings. Aemond, probably, because Aemond has like the biggest crazy arc to come, and that could be fun. As Sam asks, do we see Alicent's youngest son? I believe his name is Vaemon. And I don't know. We'll have
Darren,
to. Darren. Oh God, jeez. There's so many names. Darren. Yeah. I don't know if Darren shows up.
I think they wrote
one. Wait, really?
I think they wrote Darren out of the show.
No.
I think so because he's what a crime, not Darren.
Well, he has stuff to do.
He's not in the casting. All I know is if you look at HBO's casting for the children for this episode, Darren is not listed. So I don't know if we're gonna see him. Joffrey is not either, and we see Joffrey as a baby in
Darren is the youngest.
So it's possible he's too young. Yeah,
it does.
So we might see him as a baby, but that seems
it'd be a little weird
young
for them to like include like Baela and Rhaena Targaryen and Aegon and Helena and Aemond and Lucerys and Dracarys, but then let's like just cut out Darren. Also,
he's one too many.
I mean, he does some important stuff later on. So, so I hope they keep him, but we'll find out. Okay, and yes, as question asked over Xanax for Dan, it really did get to me. I don't think I was ever this upset during Game of Thrones. And again, it's not because of what happened. I'm more mad at the people who wrote it that way. That's what was getting me kind of ticked. But yeah, we should move on.
That's fair.
As Sam says, I hope they don't write it as character. Cutting out characters causes loads of issues to the Game of Thrones show, which is true. I'm gonna bet that he will be in there. As you said, if the baby who plays Joffrey isn't in there but is in the show, maybe they just don't credit babies because who needs babies being stalked online? That's just weird. So maybe they just didn't do it. And then there are
Helena's
other kids
baby
after
is
that.
Not credited either.
Oh, she's a baby already? She might. Yeah.
No. Helena, when she was a baby, that baby is uncredited. I couldn't find out who that baby was.
you tried to find that baby and you cannot find that baby.
I tried to find out for an article and I couldn't. So yeah.
And yes, thank you very much, Lord Dakin of House of Safarian, for following us. Everyone should follow us. We do have good points of view. Darquan is okay. Darquan of House of Safarian. Thank you, everybody. And do we have anything else to say about House of the Dragon, Princess and the Queen before we move on? Any questions you guys have out there who are watching? Oh,
well, Jay Starship asks, how are you guys feeling about Alicent? And I don't know
if
question,
Jay Starship.
I don't know if he or she is referring to old Alicent, new Alicent. What are your thoughts on Alicent, Dan?
Overall, I've liked her. I mean, I kind of went back and forth. I had a hard time getting a handle on her at first. I think it was like the fourth episode where she I saw, when she got summoned to the king's room for a late night booty call and she was just clearly not having it, but she did anyway, that I kind of understood, okay, this is like a girl who just kind of does what she's told. She's a rule follower. I really liked the green dress scene in terms of how it was executed. I said this on our Sunday stream. I am still not quite. I don't understand why she pulled it out then. I mean, it's not like a Kristen Cole thing where I simply can't get there in my brain. Like, I'm willing to give them some space on this one. And I did like the scene a lot. I frankly, I got chills. Like I said, the fourth. I watched the episode 3 times, chills 3 times. It was good. I guess what I wished was that there was more oomph to Otto Hightower's warning to her that Rhaenyra would try and kill her kids if she ascended the throne. Because that, I think, is a good enough reason to put on a green dress, interrupt your husband's speech, make everyone look at you, and announce that you are going solo. Like, that's a good enough reason. And I just wish we had more indication that Rhaenyra maybe had thought about that, and that Alicent knew Rhaenyra had thought about that. That's what I wish. I think it still works.
I think that's.
I just wish it was a little more meh.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've enjoyed Alicent more than I expected to.
I like her.
I didn't really know what to expect going in, because she's kind of, it got thrown around a lot before the show aired. Like, Alicent's the Cersei of this show, and once you see it, it's like that's not really true. I mean, we'll see when she's an adult. She's going to be a very different character than she was as a kid. But like it was really, the marketing was like, this is young Alicent. So the amount that Alicent changed over the course of these 5 episodes, I liked a lot. I like how much. Yeah, I like how much her character stuff was very subtle. It was kind of like a nice juxtaposition to Rhaenyra. Like, we see Alicent picking her nails. We see her kind of freaking out internally when she's ordered to go to Viserys's chambers. Surprisingly, it seems like she just kind of befriends Viserys. I did not expect that at all. Like, them to have an actual rapport like human beings. But yeah, as Sam says, Alicent doesn't trust Rhaenyra. And I think that even more than Otto's warning. Yeah, I think if Otto's warning had happened and that was it, Alicent would have kept on keeping on. But because Larys Strong, sneaky Larys Strong, sneaking in there into the Godswood and being like, she had a tea for something. I do too. I'm excited to see more of him. I think that is really what made Alicent decide to draw the line in the sand, be like, I can't trust Rhaenyra. My dad's saying Rhaenyra is going to kill my kids, and I don't know if I believe that, but Rhaenyra just proved to me I can't trust her either. So like, just watch.
That's clearly why she did it. I felt it more here than in here when I watched it, and I felt like I think I could feel it a little more if they just did a little more something. I mean, again, I liked it. I thought it worked, but
I agree with you.
Yeah. Also, I think that they basically cut out the big black versus green moment, even though they're probably going to have it later. Like, we've already seen the green now. It can't be the same thing,
No, it wasn't. I almost feel like they were priming audiences for that moment. So like, if you don't know, in the books, there's a moment where Alicent and Rhaenyra show up to a feast. They're at odds, they're frosty, they don't like each other, and one's wearing a green dress, one's wearing a black dress, and it becomes the nickname for their factions. I think they were kind of doing this green dress thing to set us up for that. So when that happens, we're like, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme of pointing at the TV. She's wearing the green dress again, and now Rhaenyra has a dress too. Ooh. The jury's out for me on that until we actually see what they do. But yeah, it was a choice.
Like, as Cassandra says, another good comment, I just feel like the anger point of Alicent is a bit strange. Like, why does it matter to her about Rhaenyra behavior? Which, that's kind of what I'm feeling too. I just feel like they could have drawn the connected the dots a bit more for us to like how exactly does point A lead to B to C to D, because it seemed like she made some leaps. But overall, I liked it. Okay. Shall we move on to other things?
Sure. Are there other things? What else? What else is there in the world other than House of the Dragon?
So today, by the way, before we move on, we do this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, and every Sunday after every new episode of House of the Dragon. So for more of our, as we have been endorsed, insightful, excellent points of view, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook page, do it all. Okay. A new Star Wars program.
Yes.
Oh, Lord
Lord
Daquan
Daquan of House Rastafarian.
I can't get
on
over
the wavelength.
how just in sync we are, because we were just going to talk about the new show Star Wars Andor, which premiered this morning. I tried to watch it like midnight last night, but it wasn't on there yet because I guess I went to like 2 or 3 a.m. whatever, and I'm like, whatever, going to bed. But I saw the first. I couldn't see all 3. I'm sorry, I have a job. I watched the first episode. Sorry, that was mean. I watched the first episode, and I liked it. So Star Wars TV, I actually liked it. Honestly, I did sort of enjoy it. So Star Wars TV, I think it's had ups and downs. I mean, Star Wars TV has been around for like a few years. And it's already just so saturated. We have The Mandalorian. We have the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We had the Book of Boba Fett. We had Star Wars Visions. Like, there's already so much. And just to be clear, it's too much. Like, that's my opinion. It's too much. If it were up to me, it would have been The Mandalorian, and that's it. However, I was intrigued by Andor. So we heard a lot about how it's going to be like a different kind of Star Wars show. It's going to be grittier and dicier and more down to earth. And it was
for adults.
Like in the first 5 minutes, so not quite a spoiler, like the main character, Cassian Andor, Diego Luna, goes to a brothel, and then he literally kills 2 people. And the whole plot of the first episode is him trying to lay low because he's on the lam now because he committed murder. I mean, they were trying to rob him, but still intense. It's almost so outside of the realm of Star Wars that it didn't feel like Star Wars. Like sometimes you hear one of those producers say something like, there are a million stories and a million tones in this franchise. And I'm like, but are there? Like, would it make sense to have like a really cheery, happy Game of Thrones show where no one's ever really at risk? I don't know if it would. Does it make sense to have a Star Wars show people are like getting killed and having sex? I'm not sure yet, but I was entertained. I did like it. I like Diego Luna. They have this like kind of antagonist guy who's like this I guess like corporate security police officer who is very like uptight and nervous and kind of pick me grasping. I liked him. I thought he was interesting. I liked that there were other characters that I attached to, like, just in a Star Wars show. I'm impressed if the main guy is at all compelling. And they introduced another character who I liked right in the first one. I like it. Okay, I like it, and I'll probably watch more. Are you intrigued?
I feel like that is. So I'm definitely intrigued. Let us know in the comments if you are going to watch Andor. So I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan. I have loved it since I was a child. Just is what it is. I've been kind of let down with some of the shows. Obi-Wan Kenobi let me down a bit, and I really wanted to like that.
It also I think there were cool moments. Down Lord Daquan. Jesus, I can't get over this. Okay.
Wavelength. Andor is an interesting case to me because Andor, so it's made by Tony Gilroy, who's the same person who wrote and directed Star Wars Rogue One. And it's fascinating because this feels like ever since we heard about Andor, it was like, that's a weird choice. Like Boba Fett, okay, you want to make a show about one of the most iconic Star Wars characters, get it. The Mandalorian, okay, you're still someone who looks just like Boba Fett. I can kind of see. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're fleshing out between the prequel and sequels. That's another like big swing. This feels like the Star Wars show that had the least pressure on it. And for some reason, I feel like that's going to end up making it the best. And it also had the most maybe unified creative vision, because Tony Gilroy, like, I think he made up Cassian Andor. I don't think that was a character that existed before Rogue One. And it's just like, I'm just going to run with this character I think's cool. And the show is about how everyday people are fighting back against the Empire. I I'm intrigued. What you said about wondering if it even feels like Star Wars at a certain point because it is so grounded. That's something I've been really curious about. So I have not seen, but I will be watching today at some point. I'll have seen before next week's show.
Just to confirm, like I watched one episode. Maybe the next two that dropped are complete peblum and just mediocre.
I've heard 3 is
hogwash. But the first one, I was intrigued enough to watch more, so I will be returning to it. And it sounds like Christian,
Cool.
we'll give it a watch. Good. I'd be curious to what you think, Christian. Julie might even watch it, which is something because she is not a fan of Star Wars. Yeah, it was kind of cool. So I am cautiously optimistic that they can actually pull off something that will interest me there. Beyond that, I think someone said that he wants us to review the Rings of Power up there, and we've been doing that here.
We have,
and we'll talk a bit about just a touch about it in a regular section we have called "What Are We Watching," and that also applies to you. What are you watching right now? I mean, probably House of the Dragon, but beyond that, and Andor. Still watching the Rings of Power. My interest is kind of fading. I'll be honest.
Okay.
With you. It's 4 episodes in, and I remember where House of the Dragon was 4 episodes in, and how interested I was, and just there's just not a lot to grip me. I've also watched the 5th one because I got the screener, and they have some like really goofy stuff. Although I think it's stronger than the last one. Just to be fair,
that's good.
But there's also some yes.
Yay.
There was also just some like there was just like
for the record.
What? Okay. How about you, Daniel? How are you grooving to the Rings of Power?
I feel kind of the same. I enjoyed it a lot out of the gate. Part of that is because my expectations were so low, like not low, but like, oh my God, Amazon is going to make an absolute mess of this was kind of my fear going into the show. So seeing that, like, it wasn't a bad show. It hasn't been bad so far, but like you said, like we're 4 episodes in and I don't feel gripped by it. I know a lot of like hardcore Tolkien fans are very happy to, see some of the things the show is portraying. And I cannot dispute that.
Things they have seen.
Yes, I have not seen the things that they have seen. So that's fair. They can I like Tolkien quite a bit. But not enough that the show could keep my interest without it also being a good show or compelling. And I think my big issue with it, I think, is the writing. Like the sets are brilliant. The acting, I think, is pretty good. I think the actors are all doing the most they can with the material.
Yeah.
The music, for the most part, is really good. There's just something about like, in the last episode, like Adar, who I was really excited to see, played by Joseph Mawley, Benjen Stark. Yeah, I was excited to see who that was. And then it was Benjen. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch this dude. He's great anytime he's on screen. And he just kind of let Arondir go. Was like, go tell them to leave because I need you to be in a different place next episode. Basically, like it was one of those very cheap kind of cop out plot choices. And I feel like the Rings of Power is kind of making those choices a little bit. And I don't love that. Like Galadriel,
there's quite a few of them.
Falling with Galadriel too, where the Númenóreans were like, "Come back, we'll help you now." That's another thing where I'm like, I understand that it's like, oh, bad omen. We tried to send away Galadriel and turn our back, and now the judgment of the Valar is upon us. But one, if you're not a relatively hardcore Tolkien fan, you probably have no idea what the Valar are because the show has not explained it well at all. And 2, that kind of makes the entire, like, that's a Deus Ex Machina way to get around the fact that Galadriel totally failed to convince the Númenóreans to help. And it feels like it was that's a 70-minute episode. So it just felt like that's a long time to not really go anywhere and then just be like, oh, but there's a sign, so we'll just change course now. I had some qualms with the last episode, especially.
You did
episode 4.
Review Savage. I don't know about you, but I have there's like serious disparate levels of interest in different stories. Like I kind of like the Harfoots and the Hobbits. I think they're cool, and I'm intrigued by the Fallen Angel beard, probably Gandalf guy, and I like the dwarf, and I like Elrond.
Fallen beard angel.
More or less.
Yes.
And I like the dwarves, and I like the relationship between Elrond and Durin, and I like his wife Disa. She brings some warmth to it. The Numenor stuff bores me. Galadriel bores me. Oh my God, the Southlands and Adar and Arondir and all that stuff, boring. I just do not feel like I'm being pulled into something interesting.
Yeah.
And again, we're halfway through. Like, if it's not getting me by now.
Yes.
Like when Daemon took Rhaenyra to a brothel and almost had sex with his niece, I was like, oh my God, that is ridiculous. What's gonna happen? What's the fallout gonna be? What's Sarah's gonna think? Like, I've never come close to being that excited watching The Rings of Power.
Yeah, I feel like The Rings of Power, and again, this is a writing thing. I think they have a lot of really good, interesting ideas, right? Like, I like Numenor. That's probably one of my favorite parts personally. I love the Harfoots, but like this idea that we're seeing the origin of Mordor, that's cool, but they're not really doing anything too interesting with it. It's kind of like, oh, the Southlands people are in their own version of Helm's Deep, which is just this shitty little tower that is not a fortress at all. But
all brands a new version of Aragorn, just okay, whatever.
I still think he's Sauron, and I don't know if you've seen different stuff in the 5th episode, but if he is not Sauron, they are intentionally trying to mislead the hardcore Tolkien fans to think he is Sauron because of some shots with him and Pharazôn.
Okay, I'm just gonna say I've watched the same show you have, read the same books you have, and I've that's never once occurred to me. But for different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. So in the Silmarillion, Sauron goes to Numenor as a captive, and
Sam
influences Pharazôn.
Sam agrees with you, so work.
Yeah, there's one shot in episode 4 where Pharazôn backs up to Halbrand's cage, and Halbrand like mutters advice to him. And that shot, I was like, if they're not setting him up to be Sauron, that is intentionally kind of misleading us, which I'm okay with.
In the Silmarillion, the forces of Numenor go to Middle Earth in their multitudes, assault Sauron's stronghold, overcome him,
which doesn't exist yet.
Sauron sees that he can't possibly beat them. He goes voluntarily. Nothing like this has happened. You know, the mythology
this is a problem with the show, I think.
Is pretty disrespectful to Tolkien too. Because like, if this is their version of the events of the Second Age, it's like House of the Dragon changes some things. I wish we had the green black dress going out at the same time moment, but like it doesn't change them to the point where it's unrecognizable. Like if Sauron was taking the form of a dude and he talked to Pharazôn before and they don't go get him, like this is just completely not what happens.
Yeah, I think that it's an interesting issue because I almost wish they had taken a page from what House of the Dragon is doing, which obviously these were in production at the same time. They couldn't have. But like at the same time, they shied away from the time span of the Second Age and were like, we're going to condense everything. House of the Dragon did the opposite, where they were like, we're going to do time jumps and people are going to deal. And I think it's working for them.
Yeah.
Rings of Power, they are condensing everything. So like we're starting in the middle of Numenor's decline here. Like Numenor is already on the outs when this starts. Like there's already some corruption afoot. And that is a big juxtaposition to how Numenor is portrayed in the book, where you see it and then you see its decline. So yeah, I don't jury's out. I want to like it more than I like it right now. Jury's not out.
That verdict is coming down the pike. That jury, there might be like one holdout on the 12, like those 12 angry men and women, but I think they're going to be prevailed upon if I had to guess. I do like Sam saying Halbrand is going to end up being evil because Galadriel doesn't want to hook up with him, which is funny.
Yeah, that's his origin story.
Anyway, as Sam says, the time is ambiguous in Rings of Power. Seem to be have built that tower in a week. Yeah, it's confusing. And as Nicole says, it's not clear if they're trying to cater to hardcore Tolkien fans or casual viewers, because hardcore fans are getting turned off all the changes. I'm getting turned off. And casual viewers are just left confused and nothing is being explained. Yeah, I agree. It's just not working, in my opinion. But
yeah,
I don't know.
agree with that.
Maybe they'll pull off a miracle in the back half. We'll see. Watching anything else, Daniel, or any of our fine viewers?
Well, I think I'm caught up on She-Hulk. I've been watching She-Hulk as it airs, so there's a new one tomorrow. I've been enjoying it. I know you haven't super loved She-Hulk, but I think this is kind of like, which I think is fair. It aims low when it hits it. Fluffy Marvel comedy. Yes, I agree with that. I'm a little biased because I like the fact that they brought Abomination back. I always liked the Edward Norton Hulk movie. So I love that. I love that they brought about whatever. I was a teenager when it came out, Dan.
I did like
love that they brought him back.
Tim Roth, I thought was funny. Doing a performance. It's just an interesting thing to attach to. Like, I love Abomination. Like, which one was he? Just to me, but no, it's everyone has their.
That's fair. I still think the Hulk Abomination fight in the Incredible Hulk movie is one of the better early MCU end showdowns. That movie, it gets a bad rap because Edward Norton was a diva and it's a little weird, but it actually is a better MCU movie than the reputation makes it sound like, I think.
All right, work. Yeah, it's cute. I can't rag on it too hard because it's not like it's trying to be. It's fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Let's see. One other question from Lord DeQuan before we move on. Do you guys think it's kind of dumb how the battle in the Stepstones happened exactly the Battle of the Bastards? One man running through arrows, getting surrounded and then saved by his allies. I have a long answer to that, but honestly, it would probably take too long, and we're coming up on the end of the hour here. I think short answer, not really, but I'll find a way to lengthen that for Lord DeQuan sometime. Come on back. Anyway, shall we move on to our final segment? It didn't bother me that much. I mean, it would have if he had gotten all the way to the crab feeder without getting hurt. That would have bothered me. But I thought they played more. I mean, it was dumb how like the army was just sort of there and like no one apparently saw it coming, but whatever.
Lord DeQuan, I don't think you're looking too much into it. I think you're totally right. I think it like from a tactical standpoint, that was a weird battle, but they were making it more about Daemon's emotional arc, which is what Battle of the Bastards was too.
Well, no, Battle of the Bastards I thought made sense as well. Just there are things in a story like House of the Dragon that you can fudge a little and I'll be okay with. Like the Battle of the Stepstones just doesn't really matter overall, and the crab feeder doesn't really matter overall. So if you have a little bit of like fudging, it would be hard to dodge all those arrows. I kind of let it slide. But if you have this really important thing with Kristen Cole, who's just a giant important character, and he by all rights, no, like I'm illustrating a point.
Okay.
I'm saying that when you're writing the turns that really matter to the story, it's more important to get the details correct. Whereas if you're writing the Battle of the Stepstones, which just, this isn't really that, it's fun to watch, but it's not really that important. You can get away with some slip sliding, but it's harder to get away when it's that important, a giant turning point for these characters. It hurts more. So, I mean, that's why the Daenerys thing was such a bugaboo, that her torching King's Landing is like the climax to the show. And the fact, if you don't get it completely right, it really hurts more than say, if you just like, you kind of just like fudge some minor plot point you need to get from point A to point B. Let it go. So that's my thought on that.
I agree with that. Totally agree.
Yeah. Okay, we're done. We're done with Cole. We're done with Cole for this week. Let's go on to the WiC Round.
The time?
Weekly what? Huh?
Is it the time for the famous WiC News Lightning Round?
Oh, it's definitely time. It's past time.
All right.
Where we go through a bunch of news stories that we didn't have time to get to in the main body of the show and give our 20-second reactions. I actually forgot to add an 8th one, so I'm just going to add one to the sheet in my brain. I'm going to ask you first.
I added one. Nope.
Oh, you did?
I got you.
Oh, great.
I got you.
In that case,
I added one.
Okay.
Yes, I added one at the end.
Then I'm going to ask. Oh, that's a good one. But I'm going to ask you a question, Daniel, and feel free to switch these up, by the way, because some of these are like better for you. Daniel.
Okay. We'll go by order of fun.
Daniel, Succession won the Emmy for Outstanding Drama, while Lee Jung-jae wins Best Actor for his performance as the lead character in Netflix's Squid Game. Did you watch all the Emmys?
I did not watch any of the Emmys, but I did hear about Lee Jung-jae. I think that is great. I believe he's the first person to win from a non-English speaking show. So that is pretty big. And Succession, I've heard that's good. This other, this guy Dan says Succession might be okay. I'm not surprised that it won as much as it did.
Naturally.
All right. Speaking of the Squid Game, apparently Leonardo DiCaprio could be in Squid Game season 2. Would you enjoy that? Yeah,
sure. That's kind of fun. Like a big celebrity. I hope he'd play a villain. Is what I would say. Like some kind of industrialist, uber wealthy ass jockey who is fighting against the main character. That's what I would predict. That'd be cool. I like Squid Game a lot. Very interesting, very new. I'll watch season 2. Curious, bring it. Okay. Dan, okay. This one is a good one for you. I think. The Witcher was reportedly renewed for seasons 4 and 5. Quietly.
Yes, very quietly. So this has not been officially announced, but a very reliable scoop site reported on this. And basically, it seems like The Witcher might be planning seasons 4 and 5 to be filmed concurrently, which means Netflix has probably given them at least a slight go-ahead for them to even be considering that. So we might get news about that at Tadoom, is what I'm thinking, which is this weekend. I think.
Absolutely. And also good comment from Leo about Leo stepping out, or Nicole who's stepping out, dating 27-year-old and joining Squid Games. Leo's all over the place.
That's right. Does what he wants. All right. So, Dan, Jodie Whittaker's final Doctor Who episode has a title now. It is called The Power of the Doctor. Will you be watching?
I might. I watched Doctor Who kind of like out of a sense of professional duty, but I liked it. I feel like its power is kind of diminished.
Yeah.
But it's always a big deal when a new doctor goes out. She was historic in it, the first female doctor in like 60 years. So cool, good for her. Nice title. It's cool the show's still going strong, and I will probably try and make it time to watch that one. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Danielle. I was intrigued by this one. Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron Star Wars movie was removed from Disney's release schedule. What does that mean?
Yeah. So Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, is supposed to be making a Rogue Squadron movie for Disney, and it no longer has a release date. It was originally slated to come out, I believe, next Christmas. Don't quote me on the date, but yeah, at their last event, Disney took down the release date. They didn't have one anymore, so it could be getting shelved. Jury's out.
God, Star Wars.
Jury's out on everything. I'm saying that about everything right now.
I'd love to just talk about just the general disarray. By the way, some people dragging Leonardo DiCaprio in the comments. Bless you, people. You're the real hero.
Did they?
Oh, all over the place. Yeah, talking about his let's say his Daemon Targaryen like romantic interests. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, things that are okay in House of the Dragon and intriguing, but in real life, no. Okay,
Kind of bad there too.
Okay, so Amazon, they greenlit a Blade Runner 2099 live action limited series with Ridley Scott producing. How do you feel about that?
I think it's pretty cool. Do we know who's in it, or is it just it's a thing?
It has one of the writers from Blade Runner 2049 attached as well.
I mean, that was a good movie.
That's really all we know.
I really liked it. Ridley Scott is like still going strong at like 80 something. Like that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd watch that. The movie was good. I wonder where it'll be. Like HBO Max? Probably not because of everything, but we'll see.
Amazon. It's Amazon.
You could have had an HBO Max. You didn't.
Yeah. HBO Max canceled Raised by Wolves. Ridley Scott, I hope he's still salty about that because I am.
They greenlit it. Okay. So Daniel, although it looks really cool. James Cameron told a story where he was trying to make Avatar. Fox was giving him notes, and he basically just said, "You know what? I made Titanic. You do what I tell you." Is Daniel frozen? Daniel, did you get that? Daniel?
I am frozen. I got the gist. I froze there for a sec.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anyone can hear me.
I can hear you.
But I will just say, yeah, James Cameron was basically like, my movie Titanic paid for the building we're having this conversation in. So I get to do what I want when I make Avatar. And it's my responsibility to protect you from your own bad choices, is basically what he said.
And then Avatar paid for
James Cameron, you can do that.
A lot more buildings. So he's on the money, that guy.
He was right. Yeah, totally. All right. The final question of the lightning round. HBO Max killed its Constantine TV series.
Shocker.
In the tank, not happening, RIP. Instead, a Constantine movie sequel with Keanu Reeves is moving forward. How do you feel about that?
Not particularly passionately. I never saw the Constantine movie, but it looked fun. Keanu Reeves is, of course, a very popular guy. And it just fits, right? That their HBO Max's strategy right now under David Zaslav is to kind of de-emphasize the TV and emphasize the movie experience. Is it a good strategy? I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it's disruptive, everybody. It's making everybody's lives harder. But so that'll happen, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, that was a good episode. I enjoyed that. I got very passionate. Tilda Swinton is in Constantine, I'm being told. So by our producer, yes, it is a very good idea. More Tilda. Thanks for watching, Tilda. We are here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Winter is Coming YouTube page, first and foremost, and the Winter is Coming Facebook page, first and foremost. We talk about all the stuff, talk about more stuff. We interact with you guys. It's a lot of fun. We're also doing extra shows every Sunday after every new episode of House of the Dragon at the same places, Facebook and YouTube page, Winter is Coming, right after they air, even a little before they air. Come hang out, we'll chat. We're also available in podcast form, wherever podcasts are available, be it Google Play, iTunes, or elsewhere. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Kristen Cole's a big smelly pile of garbage. Bye.
Take care, y'all.